For football junkies, OTAs are kind of like a crack or coke addict that's come out of rehab or out of the jail cell and he's desperate for something. He'll sniff, shoot, or lick anything to get his high. And for the most part, OTAs are a lot of bit of window dressing, nothing. But this first day of OTAs, there was some legitimately interesting stuff to report and talk about. So I'm going to cover what happened in the OTAs today, the news around it, and McDaniel's little presser before. And I do think there is a bunch of very noteworthy points. So without much further ado, I want to say thank you for stopping by. I appreciate all you guys do. I want to give you a shout out and a shout out to A-Spread, my sponsor, because without the two of you, this show ain't going down. A-Spread's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. Okay, so I'm going to go through it quick. I'm not going to drag it out too much, but there's a few points we need to let marinate just a little bit. The chosen one was third receiver on the depth chart, and I think that's what's going to be. I'm hoping. I really got a feeling that this guy is going to be a solid factor for us. He's going to be a solid contributor. I think his career is on the line. I think he's at 29 years old, and he's got to make something happen this year. And the kid has talent. That speed, 6'3", along with Waddle and Hill, it's going to add to this leverage. And some people think he's not going to make the roster. I do. Anything's possible. But the fact that he was third means I think this staff is valuing and giving him a very real opportunity. Will he take advantage of it? I hope so, because to see a 3 wide receivers set with the chosen on the outside and Waddle on the outside, and then Hill going in motion to one side or the other, getting people puckering up in the secondary, and then the snap, it's going to be very, very exciting. So that was one really interesting point. One was a league-wide point, that kickoff return, if you receive the fair catch in the end zone, instead of coming out of the 20, now it's the 25. And there's some interesting ramifications here. I think mostly positive for Miami, because that gives them 5 more yards. And it's like, oh, it's only 5. It's 5 more yards. And that makes you 5 yards to get closer to that kick at the very least, if not scored a touchdown. And for a potent offense with a stiff defense, what appears, this is a nice little note. Now, on the downside, if you decide to take it out, it's limiting some of our talent. Hill, Waddle, Berrios, and whoever else, A-Chain, whoever we want to put in these kick return spots. We kind of stacked up that talent, but now it's kind of saying, you know what? Just kneel the ball down a little bit more and just take it at the 25, and maybe only in critical situations come out. So it dampens a little bit some of our potent kick return talent. But overall, I think this is a very good thing for the Dolphins, because it's going to help them put points on, and they don't really have much problem putting points on to begin with. So with the defense combined, I like that a ton. Now, I'm glad. I'm not really a big social media guy. I really am not. I try to. I'm trying. I guess I'm doing this thing here. I got to figure some of that out and try to move my way into it. I did Facebook 12 years ago, and I did it for 2 days, and I just... Anyway, I didn't hear any social media stuff like how many bad passes did Tua throw. And that's good. I just don't want to hear that stuff this year. Kids, I'm not saying he's Dan Marino or he's Roger Staubach or anything like that. But, to talk about his arm year after year is just, I'm very happy I didn't hear any of that. Now, on a more interesting note, Van Ginkel, who I like a ton, I like this kid. I think this kid can play. And some people are like, he's a back-end nobody. And, well, you didn't get him any contracts, but there were some reasons for that too. But Fangio went out and personally tried to recruit him. So Fangio sees something. This kid is not Phillips or Chubb, but you picked him up for a song and a dance. You brought him back for a pack of bubble gum. And this kid can play. Go look at when he plays. And so they were talking about him moving inside on some downs, which I like a ton. Now, in the nickel, they said they'd move him inside, which makes sense. He's pretty stout against the run. He's actually very stout against the run. He's better than Baker. He's better than Riley. He's not better than Long. But this kid can come inside as a second on the depth chart in case you need some help or a breather, or maybe even in short down situations, because the kid sticks his nose in the fire. He is like a bear in a beehive on the run game. And I like that. And then they said he would normally play his outside look on the edge in base, which I'm doing a very long, very edited study, or actually review of Jalen Phillips in 2023. It's come out in a couple more days, just a lot of work. But there's so much to like, and that's the point I'm doing it. But the reality is, year one, some people got very upset that I said the kid struggles stopping a run. And, oh, you know what you're talking about, he's not Jason Taylor. He can't stop the run, so he's not Jason Taylor. And then it came out, he said, well, after year one, I have to get better in run stop because it, be more trustworthy in the running downs. But then last year, he took a nice step forward, not giant, but a nice, and basically from the opposing 0-yard line all the way till about the red zone, he was in, whether it was run down or pass down. And that's a big deal. But his usage, when I watched every single snap for the season of him, became much less in the red zone, especially in that 10 yards to go point. And he still struggles in certain points in the run defense department. But Van Ginkel is very nice on the edge, but in that 10-yard mark, you can bring the nickel in, and you got Van Ginkel to back up and to help protect Phillips so he could do his thing, which is shooting the gap and getting a runner behind the line of scrimmage and going after the quarterback. So I like those two pairings. I liked when they were opposite each other, but Chubb is better. But now you can kind of keep that pairing going by getting Van Ginkel back there to help out Long, maybe come in certain downs. And I really, really like this. I'm really looking for Phillips to take a step forward in his run defense now into that red zone. And I'm fine with it. Year 4 and year 5 is where I'm going to finally give him his final mark on his run defense. So that second year step was very good. This third year step is how much usage in the red zone will he get. And that's going to determine how high his ceiling can go. And when you see the film, and I put it all together, one step from greatness in 2023, you're going to see how this potential of this kid is sky high. And that run stop is going to take him to the moon and beyond, as someone once said. Anyway, so versatility on D. Trill Williams was coming back from the ACL. He was corner. Now they moved him to safety. And it talked about guys moving all over the place, and they like versatility on defense. Don't read into it. Fangio is kind of like Flores. Most defensive coordinators now are. They don't put names on guys. They have roles and jobs for them. And so you could be a safety playing a linebacker. You could be an end player playing a linebacker. You could be a corner playing. It doesn't matter. You just got to roll. If your skill set and your prototype fits whatever this defensive coordinator wants to do, then he's going to put you there. And if you succeed, you're going to keep going. And that's what they were talking about, guys move over. And I think this is why Cam Smith was a guy they loved and went with. Safety, slot, and corner. Not perfect in any of them, but he's able to move them around. And Fangio is brilliant, and he is a master general. And so the whole talk of versatility is really good. I just don't know if Trill Williams is going to make the roster. You got Jones, you got Holland, you got McKinley, you got Elliott. You got guys, Cam Smith, so I don't know if he's going to make the roster. Maybe another practice squad thing, but that's where he's going to be. Then Mick D talked about in his presser pre-snap issues they need to work on that. He wasn't satisfied with what they had last year. Almost everything he said I was very, very happy with because that's what it's about. You got to stay hungry, as Arnold Schwarzenegger once said. You stay hungry. Pre-snap. If you went back and just mitigated 50% of the penalties, we might have had a couple more wins, and I think we would have had a playoff win against the Bills. So he was very focused on that, and I like that. Then he, another thing he talked about was Tua with the concussions, and he talked about him doing jiu-jitsu and judo, and he brought up a very cogent point. I forgot who it was that said to him, because look, quarterbacks, they don't take any hits from the end of the season on to the start of the season. And it's very easy. If you've ever played football or you're a fighter, you've got to take those shots to slowly acclimate your body and your brain included. And so he had these new drills, and he was very smart about, hey, look, we're going to add some of these judo throws in to get guys' bodies and get them used to taking the hits and going down. And so I liked everything I heard pretty much in that area of we need to get better. We can't be satisfied. And there's this new thing of trying to get these quarterbacks to, because the preseason games was a place where you could get a little bit of that. And that's been neutered as well. So I thought that was a really good part on him. And then now I'm going to save the one little concern thing I got at the end, but I'm going to talk about injuries here. Austin Jackson recovered from reconstructive ankle surgery and is participating. Brandon Jones, Needham, they're working on their way back from 2022 injuries. And look, this game is brutal, and you don't always come back exactly as you were. So maybe it's a 1%, but in a game this tight, of this kind of athleticism, that 1% can be make or break. Sometimes you come back 99%. Sometimes you are in the 100% and you can lose 5 or 10% and then still be great. We got to see how these three guys bounce back after these injuries. It's no guarantee. Notables for today, Aiken, Berrios, and Cedric Wilson impressed. And they're going to impress. Holland picked off Mike White, but Howard was barely there. Ramsey, I don't even know if he was there or he's barely there. So the receivers with no contact, this is nice. You know, they're gonna feast like that. I like Holland getting that pick. And to me, Holland is such a big key. This guy was an amazing pick. He has a potential to be an amazing general in the mold of Reed. And I love this kid. I mean, I love this kid. I want my son to be like this kid. I love his family. I love the way he talks. I love his mentality. I love his play. And so the opportunity, I liked him in the single high with Flores. But then last year, there wasn't enough talent, and it kind of left him, not being able to do things he can do. But now this Fangio system that's more brain-oriented, allow him to do all these things, I think this pick in the end zone is going to be the start of a beautiful third season for this awesome kid. Now, here's the end. This is it might not seem, I look like a big dope, I was a brute who wanted to become an erudite. I went to college, did a lot of reading, took a lot of classes in English lit and philosophy and psychology, so I wouldn't be so brutish. I love Shakespeare. I'm a big Shakespeare. I love Hamlet, the antic disposition. I've read Shakespeare's Hamlet I don't know how many times. I remember when Mel Gibson came out and played the part, and it was like a dream come true. I was in college at the time. It was wonderful. But anyway, I was looking for this little segment here, and it's seem, nay, is. And my daughter heard me going over it, and she was excited. She was asking about Old English. She was asking about Shakespeare. It was a beautiful thing. So now I'm going to do the seem. No, it's not seem, nay, is. I'm going to let Mel say it best right here.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems.
According to Barry Jackson, as you can see here, DL got a lot of pressure. And, guys, this is only an early portion. Tehran's not here. But I do believe this is going to be the feature concept that we need to see just to reach a marginal level. And I did a podcast on Wynn, the signing of Isaiah Wynn. And then I watched a couple of other podcasts. I don't know who, I was just clicking around or whatever. And I heard a lot of big talk that Isaiah Wynn moving inside. He's gonna push Eichenberg. And I saw some awesome guys that I know, commenters, saying he's gonna be in a. Guys, I said, oh, really? I just didn't see it. My gut said no. So I went back and watched the Patriots versus the Colts last year. And Isaiah Wynn at left guard was bad. They pulled out Strange. They put in Wynn. They pulled out Wynn, and they put Strange back. It was like Eichenberg on one of his better days. Just doesn't have the strength. There's some nice things there, just not powerful enough. Go watch Pat's Colts last year and look at the left guard through, 50 minutes of the game. I don't see it. And we got Eichenberg, Wynn, Feeney, and maybe they're saying Robert Jones at left guard. And to me, Robert Jones is the guy you should start. Problem is, he struggles with movement and zone stretch, the double and then the go, and just getting to spots and being nimble enough. I think he's the best guard we got for left guard, but I just don't know if he fits the scheme. Inside zone, him, Connor, and Hunt would be phenomenal, but I don't think that's what we're going to run too much of. So Wynn, really, he's a backup tackle, and he might be able to push Jackson. But guys, go watch the Colts versus the Pats, and you'll say, wow, that reminds me of Eichenberg. Reminds me of Dieter. And so I just think we got to stay realistic on it. Now, I don't believe whatever happens, it's going to sink to shit necessarily, because as long as Tehran's there, Connor and Hunt, and all the other stuff we have, I do believe those three spots and all the skills and the defense, we can go like this in left guard and right tackle and still be pretty successful. There's still a few moments there I'm concerned with, but I got to be real. And there's a little too much hype around Wynn at left guard. And there's starting a pressure. We got to monitor this. I think they're going to get it to average as time goes on. There's no Coles. There's no Tehran. There's no, we understand that. But still, this is physical versus physical. That's how they get into pressure. And, the offensive line need that initiative and the edge, because D does have the edge in a natural circumstance like this. But this is, not what you want to see. And Wynn's not going to fix it. Anyway, overall, this defense, I think, is heading in the right direction. I think McDaniel getting himself more running attacks, not so many pre-snaps, being more settled down. He's going to be big. Chosen, amplifying this pass game, I think is going to be big. So far, mostly so good. The only thing we're going to have to monitor, and you're going to have to do it all season, is the offensive line, and we know that. Okay. Anyway, OTAs were good. Check out, maybe there's some more news. If I missed some, put it down at the bottom. I went looking, and that's all I could find. Anyway, guys, be well, be positive. This is the most hope we've had in a long, long time. The opportunity here is real. It's not certain, but real. So be pumped, be psyched. I was a little pumped today. Catch you next time. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.